Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you for tuning into another episode. If you're new here, what's up? Thanks for tuning in and I guess giving me a shot. If you enjoy this one, make sure you check out some other content and episodes. Give this one a like, follow, or subscribe depending on where you are watching this. If you're listening on the audio side, what's going on? If you're new, would love to, I guess get a review from you on Spotify or whatever, and you can leave a comment as well and follow. Well, let's try to grow this. Why not? Should be a link to my Discord in the description. So if you want like further interactions with me, talking about other topics in sports or whatever, make sure you follow the link and join the Discord server so we can have some more fun. So with that all out the way, it's happening again. The moments where politics cross over into sports. It's bound to happen, especially looking at the president elect and everything that comes with him. That this stuff was going to happen. But what is increasingly becoming more and more of a thing is that the politics in sports, there's a lot of hypocrisy. Because once again, where did it start? President elect, his first term, you had the bubble because of the pandemic. In the bubble, players were reacting to a lot of social issues that were going on outside of the bubble, especially involving certain people, minorities that happen to resemble, right? You remember those times. I guess that's not part of the Make America Great Again time. I guess not, but it was part of the president-elect's first term, and everybody was up in arms. Some people tuned the NBA off because of the messaging and all that was behind it. Don't know why. I don't know. They're just talking about social injustice. That should be something that people get behind, but we know kind of how politics and everything have created a divide in this country. It's just facts, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. It's a fact. That's just how it is. So from that, Kaepernick, like this is all stuff you know. Or if you don't know and you want to turn a blind eye to it, well, I'm reminding you where we were and where we are now. Kaepernick takes a knee, seemingly harmless. President-elect, during his first term, took it, made it political, which led to a lot of outrage on his side for Kaepernick, for other players like Justin Reed and these guys who were taking knees, which I found also kind of hilarious because if you watched a lot of games, the national anthem was something they barely showed on TV, and a lot of times you had to go look up on Google after the fact to see who took a knee and who didn't, yet everybody was up in arms about it. But hey, shut up and dribble, respect the flag. These are all little buzz phrases that came out from that time. Shut up and dribble, respect the flag, all that. Why does everything have to be about race in this country? Like that's stuff that you always heard from his side. So, quick fast forward to today. Now we're starting to see I believe it's being called the Trump Shuffle. Obviously, I'm not going to reenact it because I'm just not, right? But yeah, so it's a dance that during this political run, watch his rallies, he plays his YMCA or whatever music that he's been told not to play, but he plays anyway because he can do whatever he wants, and he does his dance. We're starting to see it now play out in celebrations in sports. I've seen at the college level, seen in UFC, NFL, who knows where else. Oh, soccer, saw it there. So now because of that, we're hearing from other sports, like other athletes, who are voicing disappointment, outrage against it, and we're having other athletes, former athletes, come out and act like it's not that big of a deal. Problem is, it is a deal. It just is. Like, if you supported the president-elect, like that's your right. That's the whole point of the voting process. You show your support, cool. Got to know what comes from that. So when Megan Rapinoe speaks out against it because Christian Pulisic does it during a USA Jamaica game, you got to understand the reasoning for it. She's part of a community that's worried about the president-elect getting a second term and what that means for their community. The same way the president-elect and his supporters usually have kind of selfish reasons for supporting him. You got to know there's going to be people on the other side that have selfish reasons for not supporting him. So the same way that they can show their support and everything like that, the reverse can happen as well. And we know Megan Rapinoe is one of those athletes that his supporters don't necessarily like because she's outspoken. Why didn't they like the bubble? Outspoken. Why didn't they like Kaepernick? Outspoken against their guy. So that's continuing, which is why I'm saying a lot of hypocrisy, because back then they hated it. They didn't want politics in sports. I even did the video during the baseball season where we also saw it. I think it was either the Reds or the Cardinals. I don't want to necessarily get the team wrong, but they had players who were doing the fight, fight, fight celebration from, the attempted assassination and everything. His side, I didn't hear any of them saying keep politics out of sports then. They weren't saying anything. That's the hypocrisy that I'm talking about. So now we have these players doing it. I think it was like Brian Urlacher came out and said players are just having fun, leave them alone. I believe he's a supporter of his. So how come he didn't just come out and say keep politics out of sports? I've seen articles on publications talking about Trump derangement syndrome is at an all-time high and it's unnecessary and all this kind of stuff. It's necessary. Because there are legit people that feel threatened by him with a second term. And as much as, former athletes and supporters don't like this woke era of people when they feel threatened actually speaking out instead of being silenced, like this is what you're going to get. So I say it all the time. When it gets to politics and everything, these athletes, yes, they are athletes as you know them. When they take the jersey off, they're just like you and I. They're citizens in this country. So things that happen on a federal government level affect them as well. So you can be mad that they use their platform as an athlete to speak on things that are important to them, the same way that you, sitting behind your computer or on your phone, use your platforms on social media to do whatever you want with it. It's the same thing. Don't know why for athletes it's an issue, or actors or any celebrity. When it's for certain sides, they got a problem with it. When it's on their side, they love it. We gotta stop. Gotta stop the hypocrisy. And look, I mean, I'm just a small speck in the podcast space, but like this is stuff that just can't go unsaid, because I pay attention to it. I've seen it. I mean, I'm not one of those who, like the president-elect side, Kaepernick and a couple of guys take a knee, they swear off the NFL completely. and wish nothing but ill will for the league. That's not me, right? If I turned on a Celtics game and a player did the Trump thing, I would still support the team. I could be a little disappointed, but I support the team, right? I'm an NBA fan. I'll watch. Patriots player does it, whatever. I'll watch. So I'm not going to sit here and make some grand gesture because that's what that side loves to do. Make these grand gestures and yeah. So to me, second term, we're gonna get a lot of this because as we saw from the first term, with him in power, brings out a part of this country that's very divisive, kind of disheartening, and for a lot of people, threatening. And look, if you're on the side with the president-elect and you seemingly don't see what I'm talking about, just wipe your eyes a little bit, pay attention, and you'll see it. It's out there. It's happened since the election, since he was announced as winner. We have seen a lot of those issues that were around in the first time he was in office creeping up already. And that's a problem to a lot of people, which is why he didn't get 100% of the support, because a lot of other people see it too. And that's kind of where we are. So I know, people will say like politics is one of those issues or topics you don't talk about. I think you can talk about it. You just have to be respectful and have an open mind. But with all this hypocrisy with the politics and sports crowd, it's kind of hard to find that. And that's a problem, at least for me. Let me know if you're bothered by it. I mean, I don't want to say I'm necessarily bothered by it. I think it's an annoyance, right? So let me know if you're annoyed by it as well. Before I get out of here, I do want to give Brock Bowers, Christian Pulisic credit for this. They did what they did, went to speak on it after the fact. I can respect it. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it, but I can respect it. I did a video on Nick Bosa, which will probably come up at the end, I don't know, but he didn't. Did his antics on the field and ran from it when he was up at the podium after the game. That kind of stuff, that cowardly stuff, I'm not here for that. Pulisic and Bowers both acknowledged that, I believe they both acknowledged that they saw John Jones do it at a UFC event, I think. Trump was there or something like that and was doing it in front of him or something. I don't know. But they saw like John Jones do it. So they thought it was cool. They did it. Pulisic even went a step further and was like, he understood like the dance was associated with President-elect Trump. And Pulisic reiterated it wasn't political. He just thought it was a fun thing to do. Once again, I can respect it because they didn't just run away from the obvious questions that were going to come afterward. Now, for Pulisic, who's on a U.S. team with players that, had like dual citizenships and chose to play for the U.S., some of those players could be turned off by it because of rumored things that the president-elect is trying to do that they may be worried to have them in jeopardy of representing the country that they wanted to represent. So that's where a lot of this becomes very tricky with team sports. Like if you're a track and field athlete and you do it, you're just worried about yourself. But team sports, you got teammates who may not look too fondly on it. Now, I don't know how the U.S. teammates reacted to it because, they celebrated the goal with him. Not doing the dance, but they celebrated the goal because they're in a tournament and, moved on past Jamaica. but it's tricky. That's all I'm gonna say. So, I mean, the president-elect hasn't even officially been sworn in, and stuff like this is happening. I want to see probably this upcoming week in the NFL. Do anybody else do it? Because it wasn't just Brock Bowers. There were some other players that did the dance as well. I think they all kind of had the same thing. They were just having fun with it. I guess cool. Kind of interesting that they're all saying they're just having fun with it. So, yeah, like I said, when it comes to that person, there are strong feelings both ways about them. On the opposition side, like they are legit communities of people that are worried about it. So these conversations are going to happen. Like, can we just be adults about it and be respectful? Like that's all I'm asking. So that's all I got for you. That's it. Hopefully you enjoy this one. Check out some other episodes. But when more of this happens, the hypocrisy, trust me, I will be doing more of these videos. Hey, man, that's just me being a small speck in the podcast space. I'm not really worried about. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any sponsors to run for me or anything like that. Like I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. So those are my thoughts. You let me know what you think about it down in the comments as well. So yeah, be safe. God bless. I'll see you next episode. All right, I'm out of here.